Hey there, welcome back. It's just another day. Whether you hear this one, Tesla in Austin, Texas has just reported 5 new crashes in December and January of this year. And so that's 14 incidents since the service launched in June of last year. I'll link the article in the comments, but this is uh, their autonomous fleet in the city of Austin. And I just covered something on the Waymo and Tesla cars in one of my previous videos. Someone had some comments, some good positive thoughts about the need for autonomous vehicles and that they're getting better, and that's true. But it seems Tesla has some issues that they're still ironing out. So these are all Model Ys, all 5 of the cars, and from what I'm reading here in the article, is that all 5 were low-speed crashes. So I think one was stopped and a bus hit it. You can't really blame that too much on Tesla. But then they were like, just a few miles an hour, probably in a parking lot, probably trying to get around a car, maybe scraped it or something. I don't know details, just that these were low speed crashes. Uh, Tesla fully redacted any of the details as confidential business information. And that's a little sketchy there because Waymo is very forthcoming about any of the information that they have for any of their crashes. And so with Tesla, they purposely leave things out to the public. And one of the July crashes from last year, they initially reported as property damage only, and they most recently updated that to a minor crash with some hospitalization. 14 crashes in Q4 2025, and the way they talk about it is roughly 700,000 cumulative miles, and the fleet probably reach around 800,000 miles by mid-January of this year. So that's about one crash for every 57,000 miles. So that sounds pretty good, one crash in 57,000 miles. But even Tesla's own vehicle safety report, they claim an average American driver has a minor collision every 229,000 miles and a major collision every 699,000 miles. By their own benchmark in the article, it's crashing 4 times more often than what the company says is normal. So that can be a little alarming because I've really only had one crash in my life. I hydroplaned on the highway in my truck, and we weren't even going fast. Or, traffic was moving along. It was just one of these absolute monsoon rainstorms coming down. Couldn't see, probably doing 45, 50 miles an hour, and going into a curve, just the back end, just hydroplaned. I could feel the truck just kind of lift up on the ponding, and that back end just came right around, and I spun into the guardrail. So that's my minor crash in many hundreds of thousands of miles. I've got 200,000 miles on my truck, and then I've had a few cars before that. And so between those, probably, I'd say probably another couple 100,000 between the few cars. And of course, driving my wife's car. So I would probably say, nope, come on, sniffing something. I would probably say I probably am closer to that 699,000 mile mark than the 229 as far as a minor crash. I've never had a major crash, thankfully. I've driven stupid most of my young life, and glad that I never seriously wrecked a car. Um, but based on what this is saying, one crash every 57,000 miles, you start putting that in perspective. That doesn't sound very good. So um, the NHTSA's broader police reported crash average is roughly 1 per 500,000 miles. So based on that number, Tesla's fleet is crashing at about 8 times the human rate. So again, this is emerging technology. They keep improving it. They keep getting better. But at least Waymo, they've logged over 127 million miles, and they don't have a safety driver. these wrecks that Tesla has had, each of them has had a monitor in the driver's seat so that if they're getting ready to have a problem, they can take over. So we don't know how many of these wrecks that Tesla could have had were averted because the monitor took over. Um, Waymo, they don't have a safety driver. They don't have a chase car. They don't have anything interfering with what happens. And it says, independent research shows Waymo reduced injury-causing crashes by 80% and serious crashes by 91% compared to human drivers. That's pretty good. That's a substantial difference. And Waymo also reports 51 incidents in Austin alone, but its fleet has driven orders of magnitude way more miles in the city than Tesla's supervised robotaxis. And again, I'll link this into the description in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. I mentioned earlier there were some comments on my previous video talking about the autonomous cars, and some good points were made. You have a lot of people that actually want this technology, and they want to be able to. We drive on road trips sometimes, 600 or 700 or 800 miles each way, and driving long distance can be exhausting. So to have something where you can just have the car drive, that's kind of cool. It's always nice when my wife takes over driving for a little bit because I can read, I can get online, I can take a nap. You can't do that when you're driving, so I try to keep my mind kind of occupied using podcasts or some music. It's just still so exhausting on long trips. So there's definitely some value to having a car that can drive you to where you need to go. But should we be concerned about Tesla and what they're showing in Austin? The person who commented said that there's a lot of use for those that are elderly or maybe disabled or have some sort of restriction from driving, so they can still get out and do things independently and let the car take them. And I'm not sure how that works. If you're behind the wheel of an autonomous car and you're not driving, I guess you're still responsible for anything that happens, but you weren't technically driving. So I'm not sure how that would work. Um, I guess you should always be responsible for the end result and be able to take over at a moment's notice. So I think the technology is just going to keep getting better. One of the things I hadn't really thought of is AI built into the navigation, and I'm thinking AI as I know it, like GTP or Claude or something like that. And so the person I was chatting with in the comments had mentioned that AI is already kind of part of some of these cars. And so, again, as AI keeps getting better, it's just going to continue to make these self-driving cars that much better. I like to row through the gears on my own. I've got a 6-speed, and still love 3 pedals. So that's just because I love to drive. I love the feel of the gears and the car driving. So having a car drive for me, I don't know if I'm there yet. But for cruises, long trips, that might be something to consider. So we'll have to see. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you have a Tesla or something that is hands-free, what you've experienced. My wife has a car that has all the bells and whistles, and you come up too fast and someone that starts flashing at you and braking, or if you leave a lane, it pulls you back into the lane. I turn all that crap off when I drive. It's just me. I like to not be. Well, I don't turn off the collision detection, but I close the lane. I turn off the lane assist. But let me know if you have one of these cars. What you think about it, And subscribe. Please subscribe. I'd love to have my channel start gaining some traction here, and you can help me do that by subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for your time and watching, and we'll see you in the next one.